The Texas Sea Grant Challenge, to help mold a future that balances the wise use of America's Gulf of Mexico with the continued well-being of this natural resource. A challenge to understand enough about the ecosystem to preserve it for our children and theirs. Every day, Sea Grant research in Texas moves that dream closer to reality. From the shallowest strip of bay bottom to the deepest reaches of the Gulf, Texas Sea Grant supports research that answers important questions such as, what can be done to deal with contamination of our bays and marine organisms by toxic chemicals? What are the ecological processes relating to human-induced eutrophication, oxygen depletion, and resultant mortalities of marine organisms in offshore waters? What are the biological attributes of the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle that is teetering on the edge of extinction? How can we improve coastal recreation and tourism? What can we do to solve the problem of winter kill of farm-grown redfish? Texas Sea Grant recognizes the importance of the users, those who make their living from the sea, the shrimpers who venture far from land, the shippers who move thousands of tons of cargo into ports that service ships from around the globe, the people who have made this coast their home. Sea Grant pioneered research leading to development of shrimp and redfish aquaculture techniques used today. Emphasis is now shifting to aquaculture advisory activities, technology transfer, and commercial production. Sea Grant assisted in establishing a program to lease state land to growers for shrimp and redfish aquaculture. We advised the Texas Senate in drafting the first piece of Texas aquaculture legislation, and we produced a comprehensive document describing regulatory and licensing procedures. Historically, little information has been available to commercial lenders on industrial trends or financial risks in the seafood industry. A comprehensively researched lenders report was developed by Sea Grant and distributed to over 300 commercial lenders throughout Texas. Because of this, $18 million in seafood industry loan commitments scheduled for termination were renewed by Texas commercial lending institutions. In response to concerns from environmentally aware citizens and state and federal agencies, Sea Grant studies on toxic sediment processes are underway in Texas bays. These include effects of resuspension, release and transfer of toxic metals such as mercury, arsenic, and lead in bay sediments and organisms. Texas Sea Grant also teaches. For many children, we were the first to introduce them to salt water and its abundant varieties of marine life. Our publications, fact sheets, and videos bring the ocean into the classroom and vice versa. Thousands of students and teachers participate annually in our Marine Education Symposium and a hands-on project directed toward minority participation. Our information and advisory services introduce mainlanders to the staggering cost of coastal erosion and the importance of quality fresh water to saltwater ecosystems. Advisory specialists help 77 coastal communities obtain over $30 million in private, state, and federal grants to develop and improve coastal recreation and tourism facilities. Advisory agents use our materials, technical manuals, and their own expertise to make sure that the work done in the lab pays off in the field. Then our communicators ensure new developments are included in the news of the day. Translating research into information understandable to the layman is a primary goal of Sea Grant outreach and education. Decades of research have been illustrated in a brochure, poster, and video describing the recently designated Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary 100 miles offshore from Galveston. The Texas Sea Grant Challenge, to continue research that confirms the environmental importance of marine ecosystems and the role they play in our coastal economy for the benefit of generations to come.